If you have the first idea, that's the most critical one. And then I say it's like bait in fishing. That idea will, if you focus on it, it'll draw other ideas in. But you don't know, like fishing, you have to have patience. You don't know how long it'll take, but if you keep focusing on it and wiggle the line a little bit, it'll bring them in.
The day I decided to start this experiment, David Lynch died. LA was literally on fire, just another catastrophic blow to the entertainment industry. First it was the pandemic and the strikes, and now this. The collective atmosphere had turned from frustration to hopelessness, and then this was just apocalyptic. I hadn't worked as a performer since 2020. Auditioned, sure, but this was the longest I'd gone since I was 9 years old without acting in something. So yeah, obviously I don't feel like myself. So the fires are raging. In between panic cleaning and refreshing the Wildfire app, shout out Watch Duty, I daydreamed. I'm gonna take matters into my own hands. I'm gonna start my YouTube channel back up. I'm gonna do that David Lynch experiment. And I sit down for a little scroll break, and first thing I see, there it is. David Lynch died. One of the greats. One of my all-time favorites. A man who really needs no introduction. The patron saint of hot, weird girls. The man who taught me how to love LA was gone. I cannot make this up. As I collapsed on my bed like a grieving widow, the first song that played was that fucking Taylor Swift song about her dead grandma, Marjorie. It has the line, "If I didn't know better, I'd think you were talking to me now." Not to make a celebrity death about me, but I'm going to. Like, he was like reaching out through his vast ocean of consciousness to be like, just do it already.
You've got to get your butt in gear and do it.
So I did. For 30 days, I lived like David Lynch. First, the rules. Number 1, twice a day, every day, for 20 minutes, meditate. This is the most important step. 2, once daily, post a moon report. More on that later. Step 3, write down every single idea, no matter how small.
And if you forget a good idea, you want to commit suicide. So you have to write them down.
And step 4, coffee. But I already do that. David Lynch was a man of habit and routine.
I used to go to Bob's Big Boy restaurant, and I went there for 7 years, every day at 2:30.
I am not. I tend to resent structure and rules. The sheer act of consistency was going to be the biggest struggle for me. Or so I thought. The first week was sort of thrilling. I started keeping notebooks all over the house. I felt like I had so many ideas. The meditation wasn't hard, but I felt like I didn't really have the hang of it right away. I don't know what I expected. Some kind of like big creative magic that makes me feel connected to like the vast cosmic unknown, the Lynchian ocean of great big fish. It just felt kind of nice. David Lynch's family requested a group meditation on the Monday following his passing, and beginning this experiment in community, albeit, with strangers from a distance who don't know who I am, was really moving and really special. If you're one of those meditators, hey. So what's up with the moon reports? Well, David Lynch famously did a weather report. He did them first on local LA radio and then eventually on his own YouTube page. They were blunt and frank, and sometimes kind of strange. Sometimes he would include important messages or a song that he was listening to.
Today, I was thinking about Lana Del Rey and her song Video Games from 2011.
In his weather reports and in his work, he never explained himself, especially when he was strange.
Believe it or not, Eraserhead is my most spiritual film.
Elaborate on that.
No, I won't.
I am a chronic over-explainer. I have this just desperate need to be understood, and I will smile and apologize and over-explain rather than sit in it, the discomfort of feeling misunderstood, and I hate it. I hate that about myself. I want so badly to be the kind of person who just lets my words and my work speak for themselves, and if someone misunderstands me, that's not my problem, you know? And that's okay. So I knew the weather reports were an important habit pattern, right? It's a way to consistently share something with the world every day and not explain it. But I also didn't want to do the weather report, his weather report. I really didn't want people to think that I was like trying to pick up the torch, like, who the fuck do you think you are? And now I'm explaining myself again. So I settled on the moon report after I was reminded of these definitive David Lynch tweets. And I am, and this is my deepest apologies to any film bros who may be watching, an astrology girly. And not for nothing, David Lynch and I actually have the same big three, just rearranged. His sun sign is my moon sign, his rising sign is my sun sign, etc. So, a simple description of the moon sign and phase. Posted publicly every single day with no explanation. I plan to do just one take, no reshoots, no edits, just make it, post it, go. Done. And it was humiliating. Every single one flopped. Obviously, like genuinely, who is that for? Me, literally only me. It's literally only for me. I guess it is better that they all flopped than like a lot of people seeing them and being like, what the fuck is this? But at the same time, anyone who's ever been stuck in like 200 view jail on TikTok knows the singular shame of getting like 2 pity likes. Even all that being said, it was like kind of thrilling. Like I felt like I had a little secret in a really weird way. This like completely not creative task made me feel more creative and more like an artist than I had in years. Now, as I continued my meditation practice, I was most surprised by what started to happen in my real life. I expected to feel zen and grounded, but you know, with a more creative mind. Instead, I found myself really feeling big, strong, negative emotions, just with more clarity, more certainty, especially when it came to my professional creative life. I began to really resent saying yes to things that I didn't really want to do. Auditions that I normally would have just sort of like rolled my eyes and went ahead and dutifully submitted it anyway, I found myself just openly resenting them. I am definitely not in a place of power in the entertainment industry, to put it extremely mildly. I'm not in a place to bargain, but I've never really been the kind of person to turn down auditions or gigs. Yet in the first 2 weeks of this experiment, I said no to an audition just because I didn't like the script. It was exhilarating. David Lynch made plenty of commercial projects, but he never seemed to compromise. Even when he was like literally shooting commercials, it always felt like him. As an actress, I am used to not having very much control, but I found myself really yearning for that freedom and autonomy. So I started to look more into Transcendental Meditation, otherwise known as TM. This is the spiritual practice that is at the center of David Lynch's life and creative philosophy. It's what the David Lynch Foundation is all about.
Stress, traumatic stress, tension, anxieties, sorrow, depression, hate, anger, and fear start to lift away.
Now, I never planned to pay for the course. They're really expensive. I didn't know if it was gonna be for me. I figured I could just do it on my own. The basic practice of TM involves sitting comfortably upright, closing your eyes, and repeating a mantra. The mantra is supposed to be meaningless to the practitioner. It's not intended to be an affirmation or anything like that. While TM practitioners encourage you to get your mantra directly from a TM instructor, the supposed list of TM mantras grouped by age and gender are not hard to find. And so, for the record, I chose my own mantra. Started by the Maharishi Mahesh Yogi in 1955, Transcendental Meditation gained popularity when he became the spiritual advisor to the Beatles in 1967. His popularity grew like crazy. He started appearing on late-night talk shows. He became kind of a pop culture figure. His influence and his popularity continued to spread even as he began to advocate for more advanced, some say controversial practices such as yogic flying. In the 1990s, he founded a university campus in Fairfield, Iowa. So now much of the population of that town are devoted practitioners and instructors of TM. Now, you might be starting to wonder, wait a minute, is Transcendental Meditation a cult? Is Transcendental Meditation a cult? Well, yes. Well, hang on, let's just keep an open mind and think about this rationally.
When I see a room full of rich white people chanting in little matching outfits, I am already thinking rationally when I call it a cult.
According to the BITE model, a cult must have 4 things: behavior, information, thought, and emotional control.
And the BITE model was created by a problematic bigot.
Well, we're gonna have to use something.
BITE model's fine.
Great.
Great.
Behavior control can include things like what you wear or eat, who you marry, where you live, all the way up to more extreme violence like torture.
Check.
What do you mean, check? You're not forced to do anything in TM.
Group behavior is still heavily rewarded, especially if you get higher up in the group.
But they can leave whenever they choose.
Sort of. I mean, there's a huge financial buy-in. There's not only the cost of the courses, but it could include relocation costs, starting a new life, becoming a member of a new community. That's really not something you can just decide to opt out of.
Yes, fair. But again, this is all optional. You don't have to train at a high level in order to practice TM. It can be cheap or even free to learn the technique.
Like a drug dealer.
A drug dealer?
Yeah. They don't start charging too much until you get hooked.
Okay, well, what about information control?
The way they try to hide and downplay the sexual assault allegations against Maharishi Mahesh Yogi.
The allegations are pretty vague. I mean, the worst I've actually seen are sort of ambiguous accusations that he's a creepy old man.
Creepy old man is not how I want my spiritual advisor described.
I mean, fair, but Maharishi isn't even around anymore. He died in 2008.
Doesn't stop them from using his videos and his teachings.
Not every spiritual leader is a cult leader.
Well, what about meditation itself? Hypnotic techniques that alter the mental state. Chanting, praying, meditating. That is literally textbook thought control, according to the BITE model.
Meditating with the goal to suppress other emotions or beliefs, sure, I buy that as control, but here the whole end goal is the meditation, so I mean, I think they get a pass on this one.
Well, it's definitely emotional control. The whole system is designed to stop you from feeling negative emotions.
So is therapy.
Therapy is not designed to teach you how to not have negative emotions. It's designed to teach you how to manage them.
So does TM. I mean, look, there are a million ways to safely and easily practice TM without getting sucked into some full-time transcendental lifestyle.
Yeah, that may be, but the people who go searching for alternate solutions like meditation are probably already in vulnerable positions. They might be desperate or isolated. They're very easy to exploit.
Does TM have a philosophy? Yes. Do they share some common lingo and common beliefs? Yes. But if that level of common beliefs and language qualifies as a cult, then every religion on earth is a cult. The Girl Scouts are a cult.
The Boy Scouts might be a cult, but the Girl Scouts are not a cult.
Exactly.
I mean, you might as well call the entertainment industry a cult.
Yeah. Maybe?
Think of this as a bit, okay?
So, from childhood, I grew up with one dream and one dream only, to become an actress. And I indoctrinated myself on the dream of Broadway and Hollywood. And the financial buy-in is extreme. A college education, relocating yourself to LA or New York, the endless costs of classes and coaches and headshots and casting website fees and now self-tape equipment, the miserable, degrading day jobs that barely cover enough for you to survive, let alone pay for all that other shit. There are endless sunk costs if you ever decide you want to leave. Not that there's anything else you want to do instead. The strict hierarchy, the hero worship, the unspoken rules, the spectacle and ritual, the myth making. Pretty culty. Pretty culty. And of course, as a woman, there is very serious, if often implicit, behavior control. You're expected to be obedient, punctual, friendly. In other words, perfect. You get dressed up like a little doll and someone else is in charge of how you cut your hair or paint your nails or whether you can get a tattoo. And above all, you must stay skinny and you must stay young. Though, of course, you dig one layer deeper and the real root of it, right? The real problem is money. It's greed. The culprit underneath these cult allegations is the one death cult from which none of us can escape. Capitalism. I mean, would it even be a YouTube video essay if it didn't all come back to capitalism?
Money is the last thing a person should be thinking about in my book. The last thing. You fall in love with ideas and you get fired up and you go and you try to translate those ideas into cinema. And it's a beautiful, beautiful journey. And so it has nothing to do with any kind of career. It has to do with the loving of doing.
Did living like David Lynch make me more creative? Not in the way I expected. As I sat there in silence, everything seemed to peacefully fade away, except for all of the things that made me feel angry and bitter and resentful and stuck. And those all came into stark focus. And I wanted to tear them out of my life. Before I started this experiment, I secretly feared that my dreams had already died. And objectively, there are some versions, some pieces of my dreams that just aren't gonna happen. Some ships have sailed. Not crying, we're not crying, we're not crying. But with this meditation practice, I found myself, instead of longing for things that can't happen, I found how easy it could be to shift my focus to possibility. I started to get just a sense of the vastness of the ocean, so to say. So who cares about the fish that got away when there are fathomless depths, endless ideas, endless dreams?
Desiring an idea is like a bait on a hook.
Yeah.
It can pull them in. And if you catch an idea that you love, that's a beautiful, beautiful day. And you write that idea down so you won't forget it. And that idea that you caught might just be a fragment of the whole, whatever it is you're working on, but now you have even more bait. Thinking about that small fragment, that little fish, will bring in more, and they'll come in and they'll hook on, and more come in, and pretty soon you might have a script, or a chair, or a painting, or an idea for a painting.
As an actor, and especially as an actress, you are trained to say yes, to follow direction, and to support other people's ideas. And as I immersed myself in that dream for literally my whole life, I struggle to even hear my own ideas, let alone trust them. I was always creative. I just didn't trust myself enough to notice. I won't keep doing the moon reports, but I will think about them every time I have the urge to explain myself. I probably won't keep meditating twice a day every day, but already I find myself turning to it whenever I feel stuck or unsure or just kind of antsy. I will definitely keep writing down every single idea, no matter how small. So with that, my final moon report. Hello. Today, as of recording and posting, the moon will move from Sagittarius to Capricorn. My moon sign, David Lynch's sun sign.
Everyone, have a great day.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm coming back to YouTube after a very long hiatus, so right now your likes and your shares and your comments mean so much to me. If you are interested in the intersection of internet pop culture and art culture more broadly, please subscribe. New videos every week until I burn out.